everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nurse Akosia, and today I want us to talk about my experience, that is nursing in the United States. So let's get started. So today I want us to talk about my experience so far in the United States as a registered nurse. I have been a nurse for over 8 years before I moved to the United States, and starting over here with the experience that I have and what is done in the United States, that is what I want to talk about. Yes. So basically, the nursing procedures and everything is the same, but then there are certain differences that will surprise you. Actually, it's going to make you feel like you know nothing. But then when it comes to the procedures, that is what is going to make you a little bit comfortable, because you know that it's definitely the same. Like if you're supposed to insert an IV, if you're supposed to monitor, like, the whole procedure thing for patients, it is the same. That will actually help you a lot. But then there are other things that will be new to you, especially with where I'm coming from, which is from Ghana. I don't know much about other countries, but I've spoken to some nurses on my unit. Some are from different parts of the world, like Philippines and India and Nigeria. Yes, I had some of them tell me that the stuff that we do in the United States, the things that they do, the technology they use in the United States, they are not used to it. So I'm going to talk about them one by one. The first thing that I noticed in the United States that was like right after I passed the NCLEX was the credential part. Yes. When you become a nurse, when you become a registered nurse, when you become an RN, whenever you write your name, you add your credentials to it. Yes. And I actually thought it was like people doing it on social media and everything. But when I started working, I was given this binder when I started with the orientation. And my name was actually written with my credentials. Yes. And I signed, and my educator told me that, is that my signature? And I was like, yes. She was like, where are your credentials? Yes. You have to add your credentials to your signature as well. Yes. And that is something, it really makes you feel good. Yeah. The next thing I noticed was the dress code. Back where I come from in Ghana, your dress code, we wear uniforms over there. Here we wear scrubs. And what happens is, especially with the hair in Ghana, it's more like off the nape of the forehead, of the everything. Maybe it may depend on the hospital, but then the hospital that I work in, they still have those kind of rules, but it is not like what it is in Ghana. So where I work, there's nothing called off the forehead or anything. But then if your hair is longer than shoulder length, then you have to just hold it. Yes, you just hold it. But I've seen a lot of nurses with their hair down, and sometimes, yeah, you have to follow that because it actually protects you as a nurse. Yes. But then it's not like Ghana where you're supposed to hold your hair up and it has to be off your forehead. Yes. Another thing that I noticed is in the hospital, I realized that back in Ghana, I knew some people who worked in hospitals where there were cameras over everywhere, like CCTVs, and they were uncomfortable. Trust me, over here, there are CCTVs everywhere. And the CCTVs is not just for the video. They also listen to the audio part. So you have to be careful what you say. Yeah. Even if you're hungry or if you're stressed, be careful what you say over there. So yes, that you have to get used to if you want to go ahead and come to the United States and work as a nurse. There's another thing that I noticed also. I go for the night shifts. And what happens with the night shifts in Ghana, from when I started, what I learned was when you are on the night shifts, you are entitled to, I think, an hour or 2 hours sleep when the unit is not that busy. So you can arrange with the nurse you are on duty with and they take over, and then you sleep for the hour or two if time allows, if the shift allows, and the other person takes their own too. In the United States, there's no such thing as entitlement to any sleep. Your eyes are wide till the morning. But trust me, there's no way you're gonna fall asleep, because even though your patients are like maximum of six, there are a whole lot of things that you're going to do on the patient that will actually keep you busy. And with the charting, yes, the charting. The nurses who do not like to document, trust me, the charting here can take hours for you to complete. I'm telling you the truth, especially if you are detailed like I am. Also, I have mentioned this in one of my previous videos, the nurse-patient ratio in the United States. It is up to maximum of six. So it is one nurse to six patients. That is the maximum. Sometimes you may have four, sometimes you may have three, and the six patients, mostly I've noticed that it is not, you don't get six patients like all the time. Sometimes you're going to get it, but most of the times it's always like 1:4. But in the hospital that I work in, I was informed some hospitals have less. They have 1:5 or something. And sometimes too, it depends on how busy the unit is. Like if you are in the ICU, if somebody works in the ICU, mostly the nurse-patient ratio there is 1:2 or 1:3. Because trust me, in the ICU, you do not want the nurse to be overwhelmed. If there are so many patients, they're bound to make mistakes. Yes. And also, there is one thing that I noticed on the unit. I actually spoke to my preceptor about it, and she was like, "Yeah, that's it in the United States. Yes, we wear gloves for everything." Yes, gloves. Even though when you're writing the NCLEX, you go strictly by the book, and sometimes you're not required to wear gloves for certain things. I don't know. But now, what I know is we wear gloves, even for changing bed linen, even for moving your patient, holding your patient's hand, or anything. The moment you get in the room and you know you're going to do something on the patient or you're going to touch something, you wear gloves. Gloves is nothing here. Trust me. Yeah, I noticed back in my country, Ghana, you wear too many gloves and then people start complaining. Here, they wear gloves for everything. Yes. And then we have, when it comes to IV calculation, as in IV drip calculation, we have the pumps that actually do the calculation. You're going to hang it, and you hang it through the pump. And then after you select whatever it is that you're hanging, and then it is going to run the calculation for you. Back where I come from, you are going to stand there with your watch, and then you hold the roller clamp, and then you're going to time the number of drops. Here, they're advanced. You can see that. And they have the pump to do that for you. All you have to do is just put in certain numbers and then hang the thing through the pump, and it's going to count the rate for you. And it's going to do everything with regards to the drop per minute. Yes. And apart from the gloves that we wear all the time here, I've noticed that everything that we do, well, what I've noticed so far, mostly everything that we use is disposable. What I noticed is when it comes to like sterile environment, like aseptic technique, an example is the wound dressing kit, Foley insertion kit, and also the IV kit. When it comes to the tourniquet, it is disposable. When it comes to the wound dressing, after you use everything, there's no such thing as decontamination and then sterilization. It is disposable. Same applies to the Foley. It comes in a pack, and then when you're done, you dispose of everything that is left off. And also, what I noticed is when it comes to the blood pressure cuff, every patient have their own, same as the thermometer. Yes, every patient have their own, and the thermometer is, if it's not one to a patient, then it is the disposable one. It actually comes with the vital signs machine, where it takes everything: the blood pressure, the SpO2, the temperature, and then also the pulse rate. Yes. What you have to count is actually the respiration. With the respiration, nothing is going to measure the respiration except you, the nurse. What I've also seen so far is that if you see the pictures on social media and nurses are at work and they take pictures, you will see that they have a phone with them. Yes, that phone is actually for communication between the hospital staff and also between you, the nurse, and your patient's relatives. Yes. So here, there is no way you are going to give your personal phone number out. Yes, when the patient's relative calls, they call through the hospital system and it is transferred directly over to the phone that you use. They call it the Spectra. So it is transferred over to you. Another thing that I noticed here, everything is digital. Yeah. When it comes to medication, when it comes to taking medication for your patient, when it comes to giving the medication to your patient, everything is electronic. Yes. When it comes to medication and when it comes to giving your medication to your patient, how to even get the medication to go and give out to your patient is all electronic. And giving it out to your patient, also verification and everything is electronic. Apart from you verifying with your mouth, you have to verify with the electronic system as well. There is a scanner that you're going to use. Mostly everything is electronic. And when you take your vital signs or blood sugar or anything, there's no need for you writing it because it is stored on the system for reference, or um, especially with the blood sugar where I work, when you check the blood sugar, it goes directly into the system and um, it is charted on there. Another thing that I noticed here, that in Ghana mostly it is done by doctors. Nurses actually do it here. When you see pictures, before I moved to the United States, and nurses always have stethoscopes in like around their neck, it is not just for fashion. No, nurses do assessments. Like, you do assessments on your patients every shift. Like, whenever, depending on the person's condition, will determine how many times you're supposed to do those assessments. But you do assessments from head to toe, and then you should have your pen light because you will do neuro assessments as well. Yes. So those assessments that we studied back in school, I did that when I was having my bachelor's, and I did a few of them when I had my diploma. All those assessments, you are going to put it into practice here in the United States. You're going to listen for heart sounds, you're going to listen for breath sounds, and you're going to listen to abdominal sounds. You're going to check pupils and measure and chart. You're going to assess everything about the patient. So yes, assessments is done by the nurse here. And so, yes, that is actually a big difference. Also, when it comes to blood administration, yes, blood products, administration of blood products, back where I come from, I'm not sure if it changed over the years or something, but then where I come from, the doctors actually they initiate and monitor blood transfusions. Here it is the nurse. You will monitor, you will initiate and monitor the blood transfusion, document any reaction or anything, and you know what you're supposed to do when there's any reaction. It is not the duty of the doctor. It is the nurse's duty. You're going to do that. Apart from that, also, I noticed we take bladder scans. Yes, there are bladder scans. I don't know for every other hospital, but then we do take bladder scans. Yes, it is not the doctor who is going to take that bladder scan, especially when you know your patient is not peeing and you want to know what is actually happening in there, and you want to take a bladder scan to see if there's any urine retention or anything. You will need to do it yourself as the nurse. And also the nurses here, if you are studying for the NCLEX, you will notice that yes, nurses do read an EKG. Based depending on the hospital policy, a nurse reads it and then another nurse verifies. But nurses do read EKG. So when you go to the hospital and you're not good in that, they're going to train you because it is part of your duty, your responsibility. You're supposed to read electrocardiogram. Yes. So you have to know your heart rhythms and the abnormals, the AFibs and A flutter and everything. Yes, you have to know everything, how to read that. And what I've noticed so far is also when you are a nurse, you have your educator. Yes, they're always going to make sure that you are on top of your game. Yes, you have an educator throughout your career. And that is one amazing thing that I've seen here because back where I come from, to be able to upgrade yourself with trainings, that is also a big deal. Like it's a problem because the person is chosen by the administrator or something, or maybe the matron to go to a workshop or training, and some people are at a disadvantage. They are unable to go sometimes if the administrator doesn't like you or if the matron doesn't like you, it goes against you. And at the end of the day, it's not fair because we all need that knowledge to be able to give in the best care that we can give. So, what I noticed here is you have your educator, and when it comes to education, when it comes to trainings and everything, there is no such thing as it's organized and we need two people in a hospital and this unit and all of that. No, it is out there. Whenever you're ready, you just go and do it. And you have your minimum of 20 hours for you to be able to use to renew your license. So nobody is restricted, and all you have to do is just go online. Mostly it is connected to the hospitals. The hospitals actually give you they register and everything, they pay for everything. So all you have to do is just log in and then you go and do that. We call that the continuous education here. That is the trainings and the workshop to upgrade yourself, to improve your knowledge, to keep you on top. So yes, one thing that I find amazing here, you have the opportunity to grow. If you want to grow, you can grow as far as you want. That is the best thing that I've ever seen here. Yeah, so basically that is what I have noticed so far. If you have any questions and if you have any more information, I may not have mentioned some things because I may have, forgotten, or maybe I haven't seen them myself. But then there may be more things here that I haven't spoken about. But then the nursing here, what I've noticed is very open and very broad. And when it comes here, nursing is divided into tiny bits. So you are able to specialize in a whole lot of specialties. You are not restricted. And when it comes to the nursing job itself, you are open to do more things. You use more of critical thinking, and I really admire how things are here. Comparing it to my country, I realize that even though the procedures and everything in nursing is the same, when it comes to the work itself, it's not the same. A lot of things you will have to learn all over again, and it will make you feel like you are a new person. But then when you get used to their system here, it's gonna be good. So that's all I have for you today. To all my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button below. And stay tuned for more videos and more information on nursing in the United States. Have a great day and bye bye.